maybe the extreme case. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you're doing good. Happy Thursday. We are back. Welcome in, welcome in. Good to see you tonight. Hey, everybody, got a fun one tonight. We're going to be reviewing, grading somebody else's video. The one and only John Q Gamer. We're going to be checking out his theory on fractured worlds because people have been telling me I need to check that one out. So I'm super excited to do that. John's a good guy. He's in the chat occasionally, but even more than that, he's a good guy. I've gotten to know and talk to him a little bit offline, and very excited to check out this video that I've heard so much about too. So I'm very excited. Let me also say, friends, today's a very special day because it is the day that a very special event has happened. Do you know what day it is, friends? It is Pokopia Day. Pokemon, gotta catch them all. And that is what's happening a little bit later on tonight, but not on stream. I got some buddies I gotta link up with on the internets. So I'm very excited. Hey, thank you for that. I'll pay you later. Thank you. It's Pokopia release day. We're gonna have so much fun. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's gonna be so good. So, if you're a Pokamaniac, don't forget to go and get that one. Pokopia. We're gonna have a good time, everybody. So tonight, instead of a lecture play, we're gonna be doing a what I call a peer review stream. We're gonna be reviewing somebody else's work. My favorite kind of thing, because I grade all day and now I'm gonna grade all night. So Thursday nights, I think we are going to do a little bit more academic work, reviewing other people's content. But then also, next Thursday, is the essay showcase where we're going to duke it out for the ship above all others. We're going to get into a whole heap of ship next week. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So Evan will join us next week, and we're going to have a good time. A good time. If you are wondering, we are listening to the smooth tunes of Sing 4D Laughter. We love those guys. That guy, rather. And just such a vibe. Oh my gosh, love that. Am I able to read all the essays? I am, yes. But also, I will reserve all judgment until next week. But here's what I love. People have put their heart and soul into this stuff, into their essays. And I love that, man. Like, it's one of the coolest things of what we do. People just put their all into these essays, and they are so interesting. Everybody's interesting. Everybody's takes are so interesting and so personal and heartfelt, and I just freaking love it. So anyway, tonight we're going to be looking at a couple of different things, but I wanted to actually start out with something a little different because I'm a big podcast guy, okay? So I wanted to enlarge that. I was listening to a podcast at the gym the other day, and I was like, man, I gotta share this on stream, just a little segment. And it comes from an interview with between Stephen Bartlett, Diary of a CEO, his interview with Healthy Gamer GG. So let's bounce over here real fast. Yeah, of course there's no game to capture because we're not capturing games tonight, dummy. So let me go ahead and pull this up for us, friends. Guys, we just continue to vibe. Oh my gosh, I could vibe to this all night. We might. But I want to show you something because this is so pertinent to what we talk about on this channel. You know my mantra is games before games, and I'd love to hear other people talking about this in the most just surprising avenues. So that's what we're gonna do. So I want to show you just a little bit of this interview right here. I just thought it was so interesting. We're going to dive right in. Again, this is Diary of a CEO and Healthy Gamer GG. If you don't follow either of those, I highly suggest following both of them. People ask me all the time, who are my conversation partners? Who am I listening to? I'm listening to these two guys a lot. Now, do I agree with everything they say or all the guests that are on Diary of a CEO? No, I don't. But that's part of critical thinking. This, though, I really resonated with. So let me go ahead and turn off Sing 40 Laughter. We're going to listen to this really quickly, okay? Just listen to this. So powerful stuff. And then we're going to dissect it. And then we're going to get into the video. Okay, let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Promotion, and we see that a lot in like psychotherapy groups on trauma and stuff like that, where there's a lot of like trauma bonding, and there's also some weird ego there with like, I'm more broken than you and my trauma is worse than you, a lot of toxic comparison. There's a lot of stuff that can kind of go awry, but I think there's absolutely a reason why.
So they're talking
that's
about
a way that you can
dopamine and mental health.
There are a lot of people
here
out there who feel broken and feel alone, and I'd rather be broken and with someone than broken and alone.
It's all about belonging at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All of these things are about, feeling like you belong.
Absolutely.
What role does dopamine play in all of this?
This is a good one.
Because we talked at the start about taking back control, but much of the reason, as I learned from Andrew Huberman, that it's hard to gain control is because many of us are in this sort of dopamine roller coaster in our lives.
Yeah, so I think dopamine plays an important role, but the one thing that I really come to appreciate is that how little of a role it plays. So everyone is like hung up on dopamine, but dopamine, first of all, is a neurotransmitter, right? So dopamine is also like deals with things like smooth movement. So my ability to go like this.
Do y'all hear about dopamine a lot? Like when you're reading things and like just listening to like podcasts and stuff, and they talk about this dopamine urge that we have typically from our phones where we're like scrolling. And we do like these, I've mentioned it on the stream before, but like these slot machine apps where you're refreshing just to see what the new feed is, like Twitter and Facebook, especially YouTube even, just always trying to consume new things. There's this chasing after this dopamine rush, right? And here, this guy, Dr. K, Healthy Gamer, is going to dissect a little bit about that. I think it's so interesting. Okay, now that's just kind of context for where we're going.
Is governed by dopamine.
You were waving your arm.
Yeah. Just like so like anytime you have a smooth motion. So if we look at something like Parkinson's disease is a deficiency of dopamine. So there are all kinds of things that dopamine does. I'd say dopamine is like a letter in the alphabet for the brain. We use it in all kinds of circuits to create all kinds of behaviors. So dopamine is absolutely important. We'll talk about it. But I think that there is almost like too much of an emphasis on dopamine, and we oversimplify the problem when we focus too much on dopamine. I'll give you a really simple example of that. So one is, in my clinical experience, it's almost like dopamine and serotonin have an inverse relationship. So dopamine is what gives us a sense of pleasure. Dopamine also gives us behavioral reinforcement.
Good definitions here.
But dopamine gives us pleasure, but will not give us contentment. So I've had plenty of patients who chase dopamine, right? And we know that, partying a lot, using a lot of drugs, having high adrenaline activities that all activate your dopamine system don't usually leave people feeling fulfilled and contented at the end of it. I've had plenty of millionaire playboys in my practice who like tried that to find happiness and maximize the pleasure in their life, and it doesn't work.
Do you hear that? The distinction between offering happiness versus offering contentment. God, this is like our lives, right? Because we're all chasing contentment, usually through a screen or something like that. And then it's like, man, that's crazy.
It's never going to work. And the problem with that is that our brain has this principle of tolerance. So the more that you activate your dopaminergic system, the more tolerance you'll develop to it. This is why people need higher doses of drugs to achieve the same goal. This is why people, when you first play a video game, it's a lot of fun. But hour 5, 6, 7, 8, it becomes less and less fun.
Did you hear that? Oh, this is so good, you guys. This is why I was like working out the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, this is good. Hey, thank you for the compliment. Always love a good compliment. So appreciate you. Y'all are way too kind in the chat tonight. Okay, so this is where I like literally dropped the barbell and was like, I need to re-listen to that. So let me back it up just a little bit. You got to hear this. Dopamine in video games. This is key, you guys. Key.
People need higher doses of drugs to achieve the same goal. This is why people, when you first play a video game, it's a lot of fun. But hour 5, 6, 7, 8, it becomes less and less fun.
Have you ever gotten that where you're playing a game and it's like really, really good, and then like it starts to taper off around 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's like, oh man, I'm not having the fun that I did earlier on. And that's why they're having to always reinvent new mechanics so that it's hitting that dopamine. Now listen to this. This is great.
And then you have old gamers like myself who are still chasing the beauty and the high of the games that we used to play when we were kids. So dopamine is almost like a scam neurotransmitter because it offers you pleasure temporarily, but in an unsustainable way. On the flip side,
Did you hear that, chat? And I don't know if there is something more rooted in this Final Fantasy community than what we just heard. Let me play it again, just because like this is what I do in my classes too. We're gonna let's listen to that again and see. Ask yourself, how does this apply to the Final Fantasy, especially the Final Fantasy VII community? Let's go.
So dopamine is almost like a scam neuro game. You have higher doses of drugs. Hour 5, 6, 7, 8, it becomes less and less fun. And then you have old gamers like myself who are still chasing the beauty and the high of the games that we used to play when we were kids.
The highs of the games we used to play when we were kids. And we wonder why there are so many remakes happening. Right? The nostalgia factor that's a dopamine hit, and we're chasing after that same happiness that we had when we were children. Right? So it's gamers like me. That's a terrible screen for me to have stopped on. That was really mean of me to do to Healthy Gamer, Dr. K. That's one of those things that I'm just like, we are so freaking captivated by returning to the dopamine surges of our past. We are so captivated by it. And this is why, my friends, this is why, right here, why so many people are so flipping disappointed and, dare I say, unhinged regarding the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. Because they were expecting the exact same dopamine release that they got when they were 13 years old. And they are getting a new ride that can release brand new dopamine, but they're comparing it to something that can absolutely never be reclaimed. Think about that. The greatest disappointment of the Final Fantasy VII community is chasing after a dopamine release of 20 some odd years ago, 30 some odd years ago, that simply cannot be reclaimed again. And how does that dictate every conversation that we have in this community? Do you hear me? How does that dictate everything that we have? And what do we see? What do we see? What do we see? We have straight up knock down, drag out fights over this is how it's going to be. This is how I'm going to reckon with this. This is how I settle my cognitive dissonance. It's a sequel. It's a 1-to-1 remake. No, it's a brand new thing with new dopamine release for us that's not going to lead to contentment, but it's going to lead to happiness. And I am here for this ride. And what we're trying to do in this channel and on these conversations is try to find contentment through the dopamine happiness of video games that we're trying to do. They say they wanted a 1-to-1 remake, but let me say, like John Q in the chat, we're going to check out your video in just a little bit. But man, oh man, oh man, oh man, what a banger line. We all say oftentimes that we wanted a 1-to-1 remake, but we don't understand that it is literally impossible to rekindle and reclaim that hit that we got back in the day. Even true of some of the one-to-one remakes that we get. Resident Evil 2, banger game. Resident Evil 2 remake, absolutely incredible. But you know what? It doesn't capture what I played on my PS1. It's a different thing, and it's good. Oh man, it's good. Resident Evil 4, same thing. That remake, whew, immaculate. Dragon Quest 2, 1 and 2, HD 2D remake. Dragon Quest 7 reimagined. All of these things. But this is also why, and oh man, I want to be kind to our publisher friends and Square Enix and all this stuff, but like it is a big old stinking scam to say, here's a remake, here's a reimagining, and it's a scam to say, we're giving you this thing you loved, just new and improved, and they do, but it's not gonna feel the same. You with me, chat? Oh man. That's tough stuff, right? That is tough. What's up, Radcliffe? Thank you for the sub. Some things just can't be recreated. And here's the thing, your memory of that thing cannot be recreated. It can be revisited. And that's why I think personally that the remake trilogy, let me zoom in. That's why I think this remake trilogy is doing just such an interesting job, because it's giving you the nostalgia feel, but then it's remaking it in a way that it's a new dopamine drip, right? That's it. And oh man, Wise Tribe, that's such a great point. Not even the creators will get a dopamine rush unless what they're creating has something new about it. And we've heard that. That they were like, we didn't want to make the exact same thing because we wanted to do something that was really interesting. Yeah, I'm using the word scam loosely because it's a wonderful marketing decision to be like, yeah, we're remaking these old games. You're going to get that nostalgia. And like, it always comes up a little bit short. Now, hear me. I love the Dragon Quest HD 2D games. I love them. Oh my gosh, I love them. I'm playing Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined right now, and I know I'm like super behind on that one, but there was a baby, and there was a wedding, and there was a flu. There were all kinds of life things. But Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined, to me, it's not quite hitting the same way that 1 and 2 remake and 3 remake did for me. I don't know why, but I'll have to process that and put it into a video. But yeah. But I don't know, guys. Like I think it's so interesting to kind of think about, right? The creators probably understand best that the original wasn't perfect, and remaking it 1-to-1 would mean recreating a product that they see some flaws in. Yeah, I think that's, and you know what else? We're getting a brand new release of these discussions, right? The theory crafting, posture check. Y'all don't like my posture. Okay, I'll sit up straight. There we go. Steed, you're exactly right. There hasn't been anything like this in video games. Maybe I would say there has been in entertainment, to a degree. Lord of the Rings is kind of that, but it's still not. It's not really a reimagining of Lord of the Rings. It's just a retelling. Whereas this is, there's still mystery in this one. You can't spoil this one. Yeah. Right, so I mean, I just think that's so interesting to me. But it's also, what we just heard from Dr. K is just so key to remember when we're having these discussions, right? It is so key to remember. And chat, I pride this community. I pride myself on this community a little bit, elevating conversations. And so when you're talking to people, right, when you're talking to people about this game and about this trilogy, I want you to remember you are not just talking to the person, but you are talking to the sacredness of their memories. They are trying to make sense of their own emotions and disappointments and that starvation of Final Fantasy VII inspired dopamine, right? And I think that's just so important for us to remember. We can't villainize someone else. I mean, people can be nasty and stuff, but we need to understand that we are talking to almost a shadow version of who we're wanting to talk to. So be patient with people is what I'm saying. They are struggling with like misappropriated expectations of what the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy can do for them. Okay, like that's how I try to keep my cool with a lot of people, because sometimes they are just mean and nasty, but it's like, you know what? Like, I understand you are disappointed, and that disappointment is attacking me right now, but it's not at me. It's actually something that you're not getting from this trilogy. So, I mean, it's just interesting to think about. But I think that by understanding this, we can elevate our own self-awareness, and we can also elevate our ability to engage with the world around us. So, yeah. The internet is kind of like Jenova causing identity crisis in pulled hive mind. You know what? You are not wrong. That's a pretty good analogy. Saying that each of us fans have our own FF7 world in our mind. That's so funny. Steed, thank you for being in the chat tonight. Hey, Steed, we're going to be looking at your video pretty soon. I mentioned at the top of the stream that on Thursday nights we're going to do a little bit more peer review stuff. Next week is our essay showcase, but tonight we're going to be looking at John Q's Shattered World. I'm just trying to go through the list because people have given me a list of videos to watch, and I'm just going top to bottom. And so we're going to start with this one. Steed, we've got yours coming up. We got a few others coming as well. So and I kind of say it tongue-in-cheek. We're grading them, but I mean, you know, like, I'm not, please. I'm just really interested, and I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on these videos. So, yeah. Yeah. People will be people. People will people, you know? So tonight, everybody, as we engage in discussions, we're going to be talking about a specific theory that I'm really excited to get into. I've heard great things about this one.
What if I...
Oh, and it started automatically. There we go. But I wanted to think about this as a group. This video is 40 minutes long. And we'll just see. I'll pause accordingly, just like I do in class, and we'll check it out, okay? Any other comments about the Dr. K Healthy Gamer GG? If you have not subscribed to Healthy Gamer and Diary of a CEO, and you want to know where I get a lot of my inspiration, man, go over to these guys. Healthy Gamer GG, I love to listen to him because like he is just so vastly smarter than me. I mean, he's like a freaking neuroscientist. So I love that. Okay. Oh, Trenton, how we doing tonight, bro? It's crazy how FF7 fans will hate the remake series and its fans with such vitriol. Yeah, they love FF7 so much it's formative, not realizing that for many people, Remake Rebirth is that FF7. Yeah, somebody in the chat, you said, am I at an advantage because I never played the OG? Probably, a little bit. Yeah, and I'm one of those people, Steed, I'm one of you. I didn't come to your defense on Twitter. I saw it, but like part of my Lenten practice is to just keep on scrolling instead of stopping it. Sometimes I'm just like, that's not my battle, that's not my war. And brother, you spoke truth, but that's not my war. I don't believe you need to play the OG in order to enjoy Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I think that we will have that argument until part 3 comes out. But you do not have to play the original game in order to enjoy or understand Remake by the end. People that are playing through Remake and Rebirth, they have a healthy, normal curiosity about what's happening. So, okay, let's get it. As long as we're not running afoul of people writing about the topic. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. We're all specialized in an area. I tell my students, you are, oh man, Wise Tribe. He is, listen, I don't put myself down. I think that I'm a pretty smart guy. I think that I've got some good world wisdom, and I also think I've got some really good academic wisdom. But let me tell you, I am not a neuroscientist. I've been around neuroscientists, and I'm like, I need a dictionary and a thesaurus to keep up with you guys. Don't get me wrong, I'm pretty smart and expert in some areas, but that is not. Oh man, Healthy Gamer's great, and it's like free therapy listening to him. And the fact that he's a gamer. I love it. So anyway, let's get into this theory tonight. I don't know anything about it, friends. Not a stinking thing, other than John Q's a really cool guy, and you should all follow him. So we're... I want you to get down here. Let's see if I can... I am way too zoomed in here. Let's try this. That's John Q Gamer, everybody. Go and subscribe to him right over there. Go to your little YouTube tab. You can leave me for just a second, but come back. But yeah, go like and subscribe to John Q Gamer. And you know what else? Go watch this video, or at least click on it. Give him a view there. That's good. Nothing needs it. This video's gotten baller reach. That's pretty cool. Okay, man, can I get it in here entirely? Why does it go black all the way over there? I need to hang on. I just need to see. Ooh, look how pretty. Okay, let's try to. I'm so good at this, you guys. You don't even know. I'm so good at YouTube and streaming. This is such professional Noctis right now. Oh man, it's widescreen. And Streamlabs does not like widescreen. I know that. So we're just gonna zoom in just a little bit so that I can kind of look like it's full screen. Okay, bro? Oh, no, we're not. No, I know exactly what we're gonna do because I am a professional Noctis. I can't believe I stopped the freaking music for this. Okay, now we're gonna come down here and I'm gonna, look at that. Y'all, I'm so freaking good at this. I'm so freaking good at this. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at me. Am I just brilliant? That is an insane aspect ratio. That's so wide. I love it. It's like we're in cinema. We're at the theater. Okay, we're gonna put that right up there. God, look how wide that is. That's crazy. Did I stretch that? That's so funny. Okay, now where's the chat? We got to put y'all on top. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, everybody. There it is. Okay, zoom and enhance. That's what it feels like. Okay, so there's that. Oh my gosh, what did you just redeem? I can't even see it. Short lecture? Oh dear God. Let me tell you a short lecture. I feel like I've given you a short lecture. But, okay, so here's my short lecture. The title of this is called Why FF7 Remax, excuse me, Remake Exists, I can't read, Shattered Planet Massive Theory. My lecture on this is that, even before I get into this, is that I think it is an interesting concept to think that a singular world is broken into fragments. And one of the ways that I personally talk about that is, and you've heard me say it so many times, but it is like the possibility bracket, okay? Every micro decision that anyone can ever make, or anything could ever make, branches off into a bracket style, tournament style sort of thing. And in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, you've got Cloud at the very center of all of that. And it's kind of this question of all possibilities in the realm of free will and the theology of free will, that this kind of happens. You have myriad, maybe endless possibilities of the resultant world of those so-called butterfly effects, right? If you've never heard of the butterfly effect, a butterfly flaps its wings, and that gust that it creates can create myriad possibilities. How much more so with human agency and stuff. And what we see at the end of Rebirth are all of these possibilities rooted in choices that people have. That's exactly right. The butterfly effect, Aqua. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that would be my short lecture on this. Without even knowing what's happening here, that's the way that I conceive of the end of Rebirth. Now, let's see what John Q says, and let's watch together, okay? I think this is going to be awesome. So, 3, 2, 1, get your popcorn ready. Go.
What if I were to tell you that all along, from the very beginning, and especially right up to the end, Sephiroth has been telling us the
Oh my
answers
gosh, I'm dumb.
to all
Hang on.
of our questions.
Hang on, my friends. I am so dumb. I'm not dumb. I'm not going to speak bad about myself. But I am going to do this because I have made a terrible error.
Right has been telling...
I've made a terrible error. It wasn't widescreen. I just hadn't scrolled all the way up. What is wrong with me? Okay. Oh my God. Look at that. Now it's a full screen, baby. We got it. Okay, let's try again. Sorry, everybody.
What if I were to tell you that all along, from the very beginning, and especially right up to the end, Sephiroth has been telling us the answers to all of our questions. Right in front of us the whole time, with many of the elements in Rebirth further expanding our understanding and supporting that assertion. What I'm about to present to you is something I haven't seen many people discussing, so let's break it all down. The first concept we're going to explore is the nature of the planet itself and how it actually functions. Here are some of the things we know about the planet of Gaia, as well as some associated questions, for which we may not have all the answers at this time. According to Bugenhagen, planetology is, in part,
not simply the study of the cosmos and the celestial bodies that dwell in it. Rather, it is a quest to comprehend the cyclical nature of life.
That means that life and the planet operate in a
cycle of continuous convergence and divergence.
Which can...
I just want to say this is very well done, John Q. already. I appreciate what you did here. Dropping out the music and the sound effects and highlighting the voices. I see you. I see what you did here, and it is wonderful. Well done. Okay, let's keep going.
Can be studied. We also know mankind was born from its soil, and upon death, the body withers and returns to the planet. Similarly, the mind, spirit, soul comes from the life stream, and at the time of death,
our bodies may disappear when we die, but our spirits still live on. We return to the planet, rejoin the life stream, and in time give rise to new life.
We also know the life stream is
an apt name, though it is as much a reservoir as it is a stream, being the sum of the planet's spiritual energy.
The life stream is also comprised of the accumulated memories, emotions, knowledge, hopes, and dreams of every individual who has ever lived.
It is the very essence of our star, the blood coursing through its planetary veins. And if ever that essence were to be entirely depleted...
Hang on a second. Smith just redeemed a drawing, so I got to draw something. Hang on, let me get my iPad real fast. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk about how good this video is so far. Love that. I'll be right back. Okay, I have returned. And I'm here to draw while I watch. I'm going to try to draw Bugenhagen. I think that's a good one to draw. Okay, so let's pay no mind to me. I'm just going to be drawing. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right, let's continue watching.
Planet runs out of energy. It and everything on it dies.
The planet needs the life stream to survive.
I love this sequence.
And the planet has a will of its own.
The flow of the great river that is the planet, from inception to oblivion.
And it exercises that will via the Whispers. The Whispers are
Perhaps best described as arbiters of fate. They are drawn to those who attempt to alter destiny's course and ensure they do not.
You know I love the Whispers.
Like capital D destiny?
Capital D Destiny. You know
And you're
it.
saying that that flow is somehow fixed?
So if we're destined for a bleak future, these Whispers will try to keep us on that course?
Thank you so much
they're
for the
led by
sub,
the
Big G.
Whisper Harbinger, which is a weapon just as much as those featured in Rebirth. The Whispers exist and function across all worlds which make up the planet. The Whispers can only be seen by those who defy destiny, or when coming into contact with someone who attempts to alter the course of destiny.
See, I love this. I'm so curious about
And as
how they're going to
introduced in
explain this in
Rebirth,
point 3.
The planet encompasses a multitude of worlds, ever unfolding. Some quickly perish, while others endure. Yet even the most resilient worlds are doomed to fade.
This new and mysterious concept of multiple worlds was fascinating for open-minded players who wanted the Final Fantasy VII they knew and loved, but more significantly expanded. Personally,
Truth.
I fell into this camp myself.
Take it up with
As it
God.
turns out, such a prospect was concerning for players of the OG Final Fantasy VII, who would have preferred for Square Enix to have made an exact one-to-one remake of the
What'd we
original
talk about?
PS1
What did we
game
just
with
talk
better
about?
visuals
That's
on
what I'm
modern
screaming.
hardware. In fact, this sentiment was vocalized enough that after Remake debuted in 2020, fans began to speculate whether the Whispers
real upset.
and their role as custodians to maintain the sacred course of the story's events were a meta-level reference by the developers to represent purist fans' desires for zero change to the
Do you remember that? Do you remember those fights about how we're the Whispers all along?
original game.
I
The
remember.
creatives behind Remake and Rebirth obviously made another call, however, and the concept of these worlds has become canon. But when and how does the planet decide to form these new worlds? And what causes them to be created? Based on the information available in Rebirth, it appears one way these worlds are born comes through a divergence from the intended will of the planet. When choices are made which branch from the course of destiny, it appears new worlds are potentially made as represented by a rainbow effect seen in Rebirth. However, in order for an individual to break from the will of the planet, a world containing that person must already exist in the first place. So it's reasonable to conclude that the planet also materializes worlds and populates them with all forms of life by tapping into the spiritual energy of the life stream, as stated by Bugenhagen previously. Additionally,
That's good.
one Rebirth NPC also theorizes that the planet
We know
may
this
even
one.
create worlds from more metaphysical sources as well.
So, my parents are no longer with us. Here, that is. But I believe they're still out there, on another plane. I've been reading a bunch of theories about this alternate world in the hope of going there someday. And over the course of my studies, I stumbled across a fascinating theory. It addressed the issue of what the life stream is, arguing that spiritual energy is actually a manifestation of our knowledge and memories. Like I said, it's a fascinating theory,
Yeah.
but it's incomplete. What about our hopes and dreams? We remember those, don't we? So what if spiritual energy doesn't distinguish between our real, lived memories and the unrealized desires buried deep in our hearts? What if coming into contact with that energy allowed us to peer through the looking glass, so to speak, It's just an idea, but
Peer
I
through
hope
the
to
looking
find the
glass. That's
truth
such a good.
someday.
Yeah. Ooh.
Aerith seems to back up this theory by indicating that one world was,
Let's just call it a dream. My dream, to be precise.
Was Aerith able to manifest the date world via the lifestream using her hopes and dreams? We also know that all inhabitants of Gaia seem to have separate existences across these disparate worlds. But how exactly does this process work when a
love this
consciousness
animation.
re-enters the lifestream and helps in the creation of a new life? I think there's three main possibilities. Is a person's spiritual energy diffused and used to create new, completely different life within the same world where they died? Or is a completely new life created, but in a different world instead? Or, hear me out, are the people reborn as themselves, but in a different world? So their spiritual energy remains, but when new life is born out of the lifestream, it's still them. Sephiroth is aware this multitude of world exists and is, at least in some manner,
I love this
connected
song.
as one conscious being across the worlds. He also appears to exist outside of any specific world at the edge of creation as well. Sephiroth also uses the black robes to physically manifest himself and exert control and manipulation of people and
That's
events.
good.
Based on Aerith's uncanny knowledge of events during Remake,
He's my bodyguard. And a soldier. Pretty cool, huh?
Huh?
I guessed. From the sword.
I
and
guess.
certain sequences of
I
Rebirth,
love that for it.
Whatever happens, don't blame yourself.
is there enough evidence to deduce that Aerith also possesses some power which is not contained to singular worlds?
I would agree with that. She
What
definitely
do you
does.
mean?
It's just a matter of how did she get those?
Made
Yeah.
whole forever.
Oh man.
There's no such thing as forever.
We also learned that worlds that are fading or about to expire have a rift which becomes visible in the sky. But what's the nature of this rift and what does it exactly represent? If we take a look at Zack's experiences, a rift was not present in the skies of the Terrier world during the opening prologue of Rebirth. Zack only first sees it after being told by Elmira that people are saying the world is ending. But Elmira and the other NPCs of the Sector 5 slums seem to have known about the rift for a while.
That is
and they
interesting.
Most certainly.
That's an interesting point, that the rift exists at the beginning of Rebirth in Zack's world because that world is ending. And at the end of Rebirth, the implication is that that world is about to end as well, because there's now a rift in that sky that only Cloud can see, or something. That's interesting.
They wouldn't have grappled with why it was in the sky.
That's true, Leo.
Or what it
Good
meant
point.
in the short time it took for Zack to move Aerith and hide away from Shinra until Elmira could come to them. So the reasonable conclusion is Zack couldn't have seen it at first, but then only could after Elmira mentioned it and recent events caused Zack to feel as though the world or his world could be ending. Are these rifts only visible to people who have accepted that the world is going to end? And is that why only Cloud can see the one at the end of Rebirth, but the rest of the party cannot?
Don't look up.
Well, now I gotta look.
Now I gotta.
Fine, but don't let it get to you.
Don't let what get to me?
The live stream. Oh, we're getting into it now. I love that.
Now that we've discussed at least 3 potential ways the various worlds might be created, how are these different versions of Gaia connected via the life stream? Do they share one life stream? Does each world have their own measure of the life stream? And how or why do worlds endure or fade at different paces? Is the length of their survival based on their own shares of the life stream? While we don't have enough information to make a concrete determination one way or the other about how the worlds exist and interact with the life stream, we do know a few details with which we can establish a small foundation to build upon in Part 3. All worlds are connected via the life stream, as demonstrated by Cloud seeing through to Aerith's dream world while he was sleeping, or when Aerith could feel Zack's hand.
Yes, They are connected. I'm telling you.
We do know that it is possible for an individual world's portion of the life stream to dry up, as we saw that happen at the empty reactor in Rebirth.
Seems it's all out of Mako. Pump's still sucking away, but the only thing it's pulling up is dirt.
Meaning?
That the life stream's bone dry. Bomb one reactor, bomb them all. Planet's done either way.
I feel like that scene is going to make so much sense at the end of part 3, once they kind of reveal exactly how the world and the life stream works. But yeah, I think John's exactly right that we're talking about like life streamy sort of stuff.
We also know worlds can be united or parted through external influence which doesn't come from the planet, such as when Sephiroth parted Cloud and Zack at the end of Rebirth, or when Sephiroth sent Zack between worlds at the church.
Yes. I don't see a lot of people talking about that.
And we know worlds can also be merged into one another via external intervention, which seems at least in part what Sephiroth is up to.
Yes.
What effect does this merger have on the inhabitants of those worlds? And how does this type of merger impact the life stream?
Listen.
God.
Sephiroth
I've
also
forgotten
clued
about
us
that
into
part.
the idea that
Good.
something feeds off of negative energy such as despair and grief. Either Sephiroth himself, Jenova, or the unification of these worlds. But why is Sephiroth trying to feed the planet with negative energy?
War can put things right. Beget anger, desolation, hatred.
Glenn,
and in
yes.
its wake, new unity.
I don't think it makes sense. It does make sense, but it's not explicit. And that's the thing. Like, people need explicit explanation. And that's the issue. So like right now, it's like, I think that is what's happening, and there's every reason to believe it, but, you know.
A people rejuvenated, and a planet once more made whole.
And as a last question around this concept of a multitude of worlds, did they always exist and the planet has always been made up of them?
A fair question.
I want to dig into that point specifically next, as I believe all of the lore and information we've already reviewed from Remake and Rebirth can aid us in not only understanding the mechanics of how the planet and its worlds function, but provide us with a fairly reasonable answer to this question and its greater impact on what's to come.
Good. I like the way that this is laid out. This is a good argumentative.
There's one
it's a good
more topic
debate
which
tactic.
looms over everything in Remake and Rebirth, which must be discussed.
Jenova! Oh, good. That's good. I love that graphic.
There's
That's hot.
still so much we don't know about Jenova.
It's true.
Obviously, the devs have been intentional about holding back key pieces of information to be revealed in Part 3. But even if we look across the entire compilation of Final Fantasy VII, from the original game to now, so much of the lore around Jenova has just never been explored. And while we don't have anywhere close to a puzzle box to know what the picture will ultimately
I want it.
I do think Remake and Rebirth presented us with just enough pieces that we can begin fitting them together and get a rough idea of what parts of it will look like. Let's review what we do know. Jenova came from space and crashed on Gaia roughly 2,000 years ago.
Long ago, a wound marred the northern lands.
The specimen found in strata dating back 2,000 years smiled with what could only be described as ethereal grace.
Ethereal grace.
She needed a name, and so I dubbed her Jenova.
This raises the question of how Jenova actually came to Gaia. Did Jenova arrive via the Gi's homeworld that it had already consumed? When Gi Natak is narrating during the final battle of the Gi village, he describes the end of their homeworld.
With the passing of eons, the star we called home began to wane.
until at last it was subsumed by your own. The earth shook, seas boiled, skies shattered, and time stopped. Few of my people survived the chaos and calamity.
Chaos.
Those who did began a new life here. But to the planet, we were not welcome. Not in life, nor in death.
Jenova is referred to as the calamity from the skies and is a destroyer of worlds. And according to Bugenhagen, the Gi arrived many millennia ago. Is it possible that these two are connected? One additional possibility is that the Gi summoned the Jenova via the black materia before the Cetra could steal it.
That's possible.
Ginatok stated,
"From the planet, we claim the greatest of materia, a most sacred treasure, and imbued it with our desire for freedom. After an eternity, the materia began to stir, and thus did we rejoice, knowing that salvation was within our grasp."
Perhaps as the Cetra locked away the black materia, Jenova arrived as a result. Or is there some other explanation entirely for Jenova's arrival? Jenova also possesses an ability to mimic the dead.
Though in time we triumphed over the calamity visited upon us by the stars, tragedy would nevertheless be our ultimate reward. For the children of man feared us. For the children of man envied us. Perhaps their enmity was seeded by our celestial adversary. None can say. A deceiver that stole the faces of the dead, of mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers lost. With their voices did it sow the seeds of discord among our people, among the children of man.
The Cetra were the original stewards of the planet prior to Jenova's arrival, and they could communicate with the planet to understand its desires and needs.
Yes.
And we know the Cetra stood against Jenova, just as they did the Gi.
It has ever been our sacred duty to protect our planet against any who would threaten it. They who came from without were one such threat.
Lastly,
I love that
we know
scene.
that Jenova was
It's so good.
successful in basically killing off pretty much almost all of the Cetra.
Alas, the ancients themselves are long gone. 2,000 years ago, a meteor brought an end to their civilization.
Regardless, we have been forsaken by fate, abandoned to unquenchable anger and unbearable grief, condemned and driven forth, powerless to forestall the coming of our end. For the planet did we lay down our lives in battle.
It's great to hear these
her
words
embrace.
without that rush of the gameplay.
But before their fiery end, did the ancients find their promised land? Even now, we have only to wonder.
However, since Jenova did not originate from the Lifestream, it couldn't rejoin the Lifestream, just as the Gi could not.
Yes, I do
Those
agree with
not
that.
born of the life stream can never join its flow. One cannot return to that from which one did not arise.
Yet our adversary did not. Could not. Thus did it fall into a deep slumber. And in the long silence of its sleep, it was given the name Jenova.
Jenova.
Now that we've explored the
That's
nature
good.
of the planet, its multiple concurrent realities, the Lifestream which bridges them, and the external entity known as Jenova, I'll start to fit some of the puzzle pieces together in a manner which makes the most
All right,
sense to
here
me.
we go, here we go.
And to do so, I'll start where we
I
left
love the
off a moment
puzzle.
ago
Like that's a
and work
good.
backwards.
That's a good
How
graphic.
exactly did
Well
the
done. I'm
Cetra
curious how you
manage
did
to
that.
stop
That's really
Jenova?
good.
Jenova was a life force from beyond the Cetra's own world. Its nature was unknown to the ancients, and Jenova possessed the power to adjust its appearance, speech, and behaviors to imitate other creatures. We know from the scene in the Temple of the Ancients that the Cetra teamed up with humans to fight Jenova. From what we've learned, the Cetra essentially went almost extinct, and the only result their alliance with the humans could muster was to force Jenova into a form of stalemate and stasis. But how was this achieved? Perhaps the Cetra knew enough about the planet to be aware of its multiple worlds, and how the lifestream connects them. But even if they did, how would that help them in their battle to subdue Jenova? Here's the reasonable explanation to me, and the case I'll make for how the blurry picture on the puzzle box looks to me by the end of Rebirth.
He did.
The planet was once whole, and served as the home of the ancients until the arrival of Jenova. Recognizing they were unable to beat this alien entity, and with the survival of the planet they loved at stake, they were forced to split their home into multiple realities.
Oh, that is
the first
very
rainbowed.
That is very interesting. That the Cetra split the planet into multiple realities. Okay, let him cook.
Action, perhaps? The Cetra used their knowledge of the lifestream to divide the planet into a multitude of worlds, and by doing so, Jenova, who was unable to be absorbed into the lifestream, was instead pulled apart and splintered across all those worlds.
Very interesting.
It's reasonable to conclude that the Cetra, having immense and intimate knowledge of the planet and the lifestream, might have been the first to break the will of the planet, with the understanding that it would split the planet into multiple worlds, and that all life of the planet would continue via the lifestream. However, Jenova would be unable to wreak havoc upon the planet in its disassembled state. It's also fairly plausible that the Whispers were created by the planet as a reaction to the Cetra's defiance and subsequent disappearance. Without the Cetra to care for it, the planet may have formed its first weapon, the Whisper Harbinger, as a means of ensuring its own will is followed. Based on this theory, the events which play out on an individual world are unable to bring about a final resolution for Sephiroth, Jenova, or the Gi, because such, it stands to reason that in order for anything to truly affect these aspects of our story, the disparate worlds of the planet would need to come back together, a homecoming of sorts. And since we have yet to see anything across all of the worlds of Final Fantasy VII that resembles the actual Promised Land,
This isn't the Promised Land.
Yeah.
I mean, just look around. It can't be. Not with all this sadness.
Not
and
with all
anger.
this sadness and anger.
This place. Is it the Promised Land?
No, sweetie, it's not.
I'm sorry, but I don't think it is.
Of course. Figures.
it's also logical that the scriptures passed down by the ancients
Twitch just died?
tell of a time when the planet they loved would once again be made whole.
Keep refreshing. I don't know what to tell you.
Them probably seemed like a distant
I
promise
can't do anything
to
about it.
return the land back to how it was before.
Unto her promised land shall we one day return. By her loving grace and providence, may we take our place in paradise.
If this is truly how the puzzle fits together, it appears Sephiroth may have figured out the box's cover art as well, with his words and actions backing it up. Let's evaluate what we know about Sephiroth and his master plan based on what has been presented and remade.
Yeah, I don't know
and
what's going on
Rebirth.
with Twitch.
Cloud believes
he wants to finish what he started. He wants to reclaim his birthright and rule over the planet with Jenova at his side.
Aerith seems to think he's going against the way that things should be.
And you're
wrong. Yes.
Everything about you is wrong. There's no such thing as forever. No. You're wrong.
We also know Sephiroth doesn't want Cloud to die. Rather, he wants Cloud's help.
I have a favor to ask. Our beloved planet is dying. Slowly, silently, painfully. Can you bear to see the planet suffer? Cloud. That which binds us together would be no more, and I would be loath to live in such a world.
Truth.
Which
Me
is why
too,
I must
Sephiroth.
ask you this one favor. Don't worry, it's a simple thing. Run, Cloud. Run away. You have to leave. You have to live.
Keep refreshing on Twitch, friends, if you can hear me.
Careful now. That which lies ahead does not yet
This
exist.
is a good juxtaposition of all of these things. I love that. You're right, Brandon.
Our world will become a part of it. One day.
One day.
But I will not end.
And I will not have you end.
Nor will I have you end.
God, it's so chilling.
Cloud, lend me your strength. Let us defy destiny together.
Leave me out of it.
How very stubborn of you. Perhaps you need a little push.
Sephiroth wants the black materia, presumably to call forth a meteor capable of causing catastrophic damage to the planet, as seen in Shinra's visual entertainment hall during Remake and also shown in Rebirth. Guy Natak also all but confirmed this function of the black materia when he begged the party to return it to the Guy.
Our ultimate salvation is cessation. It is nothingness. Our wish is not to exist, but rather to no longer exist.
That's so chilling. I love that.
It's hard to feel
good music here
around
too.
folks whose only desire is death. And if the planet won't let them have it, well, who's to say they won't let the planet have it?
We ask that you retrieve it, the black materia, key to our oblivion. Please, it alone can liberate us from this endless dream.
Sephiroth appears to have needed the party to help destroy the Whisper Harbinger and break the planet's hold over Destiny so he could take control of the Whispers himself.
I feel like that is pretty accepted right now.
Perhaps to unbind those who were born on Gaia from the planet and the lifestream and maybe bind them to whatever Sephiroth wants to create?
They're not bound to the planet, and so she rejects them.
Because you have to come from the life stream to return to it.
All born are bound to her.
Yes.
Should this world be unmade, so too shall her children.
So despite his desire to obtain the black materia and summon meteor,
I 100% agree with you,
outright
Leo.
destruction of the planet doesn't seem to be Sephiroth's actual intent. However, when Sephiroth grabbed the black materia in Rebirth, he called it
The key, which grants access to the true counterpart hidden between worlds.
And we know Sephiroth didn't want the remake Beagle world to have a white materia, because when Cloud still possessed it after his time spent in Aerith's dream world, Sephiroth stated,
That
So
doesn't
true.
belong here. Very poor form.
Very
while
poor
we don't have
form.
enough
I love it.
information by the end of Rebirth to understand why, the existence of a white materia is clearly not something Sephiroth wants. And perhaps he even formed the singularity at the end of Remake, knowing Aerith would need to use or empty her white materia to modify it as
A
she did.
very interesting
Thus,
possibility.
his
That
way
is
of getting
good.
rid of it. And the concept of a reunion has been referenced many, many times.
A touching reunion. For the future is bright. We are to bear witness to the reunion of worlds.
Good imagery here, John. Well done.
And based on some very specific lines of dialogue during the Temple of the Ancients, it seems extremely plausible Sephiroth is trying to reunite all of the worlds which make up the planet with the intention of making it and Jenova whole.
That's good.
Yet I shall remain. I, son of Jenova, will at last claim my birthright. My dominion shall reach into infinity. It shall encompass worlds unbound by fate.
Unbound by fate.
And histories
oh
unwritten.
man, that's so interesting.
My fragmented mother. These errant worlds.
Fragmented
all shall be
Okay, John, this is where you cooked. I mean, my fragmented mother, these errant worlds. It's the idea that she's trapped across all of these things. They're holding her at bay. That is really interesting. We're not quite sure what singularity meant.
again.
No, we're not.
The reunion.
That's it. That's
all
fascinating.
made whole forever.
There's no such thing as forever.
Ah. But there will be.
Wow.
This statement seems to tie back to what Sephiroth said in the Nibelheim reactor way back at the beginning of Rebirth.
Together we will reclaim our world. And I know exactly how we can do that. The Promised Land.
Part 3 is
But
going to be
there's no
so
need to be
freaking
sad,
good. Oh my
Mother.
gosh.
Because I'm here for you. Now and forever.
That's so good.
Maybe the Promised Land is not just a specific location in one world as Shinra thought,
Yeah.
but instead only exists when all of the worlds are united as one?
That's a good
Sephiroth's
point.
every move appears to be leading to a reunification of the worlds of the planet and Jenova, as foretold by the Cetra in the Temple of the Ancients.
It's upon us. The reunion. When worlds
All
merge.
these disparate worlds merge. I get it.
When
That's
spite
good.
and sorrow are harvested to feed the planet.
Yeah, that's good.
Heed well our warning of that which is to come. The reunion. When our adversaries' scattered malignancy shall converge to plague the planet once more.
And while we've gone over most of the evidence to that effect, there's still one disturbing part of Sephiroth's plan that I still want to address. From what we've seen across multiple worlds, it appears Sephiroth is intentionally hunting Aerith in every world with the intent to kill her.
Yeah.
He even confirms as much to Aerith herself, twice.
So this is where you've been hiding, in a world that has accepted its fate. Just as you must.
How can you want this, Sephiroth? How can you want an eternity of loneliness?
Begone. Your part is played.
With this context, when Aerith runs at the introduction of Sephiroth's theme during the opening of the remake, a whole new meaning is added to that moment.
That she's running from him there. Yeah.
But why would Sephiroth go through such effort? Besides being extremely vindictive, what reason could he have to actively hunt her down? I believe we have a couple of clues to Sephiroth's intent. As we reviewed earlier, after people die and enter the lifestream, it takes a while before their energy in the lifestream then gives rise to new life.
In time, yeah.
Sephiroth's endgame has something to do with the creation of a forever, in which the cycle of life and death would be disrupted.
Ah. But there will be. Our world will become a part of it. One day. But I will not end. Nor will I have you end.
Sephiroth has been unifying worlds, resulting in the screams of the planet.
Listen to the planet, Cloud. To her ecstatic cries, her rapture.
Screaming! It's screaming!
What you heard just now were the voices of the planet. Those born into this world, who lived and who died, who returned. They're howling in pain.
Because of him, Sephiroth?
Their words, they don't reach him. All these moments and memories, precious and fleeting, they're like rain rolling off his back. And when they're gone, he won't cry or shout or anything.
From this, we can deduce that if people have died and their essence or consciousness is in the life stream at the time those worlds are unified, they may cease to exist. And on the flip side of that coin, what would happen to the multiple versions of everyone who are alive and not in the life stream at the time Sephiroth successfully executes the final unification? Do all of the worlds converge and suddenly there's a single version of every living person who ends up in one unified world and live together? But if Sephiroth really is trying to create an eternity where no one dies, it's entirely possible Sephiroth is trying to eliminate Aerith from all worlds prior to executing the final unification.
That makes sense to me.
Leaving her spiritual energy in the limbo period across all worlds, so she wouldn't be present as the remaining Cetra to rival him in the new unified forever Sephiroth is creating.
He has to be stopped by a Cetra.
Yeah.
And I'm the last.
So there you have it. We set out to break down the lore and mysteries found thus far in the Final Fantasy VII Remake project, helping us all who were feeling exactly like Zack.
What in the hell is going on?
And make the case for how these puzzle pieces fit together in the way that makes the most sense.
They're Sid.
If you're with me and everything in this video makes a lot of sense to you too, let us know in the comments. Conversely, if you disagree or have your own takeaways from Remake and Rebirth, let us know as well and share your own thoughts with us. And for those fans who have only played the Remake series and are trying to remain spoiler-free until Part 3, I did my best to record this video without using any of the other information found in Final
well
Fantasy
done
VII
there, John.
compilation.
That's great.
But I would just recommend being super careful when diving into the comments, just in case folks share more info than what was found in Remake and Rebirth.
Truth.
A big shout out to Blitz for helping me to give shape to the ideas bouncing around in my head. Go check him out on YouTube, Twitch, and all the socials.
Yes.
Also be sure to check out Killica Beats, who provided all of the fantastic lo-fi tracks
I don't know if I know
found in this
Killica Beats.
video.
I need to meet them.
You can find their awesome video on YouTube and
Bet
linked
I
in the
will.
description as well. And also to my wife, who's been so supportive as I've started diving into content creation. Thank you so much for exploring these
Lady
topics
John.
with me, and I'll see you in the next video.
Okay, well done. Big claps for John. That's a really interesting video, really enlightening. And here's what I love about it. I think that maybe my let me get big. Wow. And let's listen to our lo-fi beats from Sing 4D Laughter. Excuse me. Okay, let me get my face. Get my face. Do. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here's my take on that one. First of all, I love it. It's freaking good. John, be very proud of that video, because that is really, really good. And I haven't heard a lot of people talking about that. The thing that I find most compelling about that video is the idea that as a salvific maneuver, the Cetra created a fractured reality that then they were able to trap Jenova in. And that is a really interesting idea for the containment of Jenova, but also for the unification of Jenova that Sephiroth wants to do. I think that's hyper interesting, right? I think that's really, really interesting. Hey, how you doing? Welcome in. I think that the possibility of that fractured world, and it goes into with the implications of like every person's decisions create a new pathway. I think that the Cetra have created an enduring break in reality that is allowing there to be a salvation. So here's one of the things that I'm thinking. I think that there's going to be, this makes me wonder that in addition to the unification of worlds, the reunion of worlds, I'm curious if there is going to be, how do I say this? How do I say this, chat? I think one of the interesting things about the remake trilogy is that the planet itself seems to have some confusion as to like kind of what's going on, right? And what I mean is the Whispers acting very erratically. Aerith talks about this a little bit, like they're acting like out of the ordinary because of Sephiroth or Jenova's presence. And just as Cloud has a reconciliation of himself, self-actualization in his live stream sequence with Tifa, I wonder if part 3 is also going to allow the self-actualization of the planet, whereas Sephiroth wants to create a reunion of all of these fractured worlds. I wonder if there will be a self-actualization of all of these disparate worlds on the planet's behalf. Either way, I feel like the planet, if this shattered world theory is right, and I think it's really interesting, even if it's right, the fractured worlds have to go into a singularity. And Smith, you mentioned something about that in the chat. I think that's really interesting. I think in the end, I mean, this goes into one of my key thoughts, right? That in the end, there will have to be a unification of all the worlds, and that the party will have to move forward with a decision. For all the reasons that I've mentioned over the last year, I think that acceptance of what that better world is going to be is going to come with sacrifice and casualty. I do not believe that everyone is going to get the traditional happy ending, but I think it will be a satisfying ending. You know me, I think it will end up the same way that the original game ended up. I think those who have died will remain dead, but there will be a hopeful reasoning to their death. I think those who are alive will remain alive. Those that are defeated will remain defeated. I think all of that. But I think that there will be an element that the planet, just as it can be fractured and rejoined and separated, there is a tenuous nature of reality that can be impacted by the movement of someone's mind and their will. I think that's a really interesting aspect of this. I think so too, Leo. I do. I don't see how you can't do that with the narrative of that they're kind of building up here. And I think everybody kind of wants to some degree. I don't know. Oh, I think it'll be a happy ending. Don't get me wrong. I believe it will be a happy ending. But like we opened the stream with Dopamine conversations, I think that it will be a happy ending that leads to contentment, not a happy ending that feels unearned and cheap. That doesn't mean that everybody is like skipping off into the sunset under their rainbow worlds. I don't necessarily believe that. I think that I think that they can pull it off, and I think that John has done a really good job of explaining some of the very subtle aspects. Well done. I think it's really interesting. I'd never really thought about what it would mean for Jenova to be fractured. And that's a really, really interesting. I love that. I'm gonna have to think about that more. That's good. That's really good. Okay, so generally, here's what I would say. There were some ideas that I'm really curious if you further explore, John, in your future videos. I know that you've got a Zach video, and I know you've got a Vicky video. And so you're probably going to clear up some of the things that have like lingering questions for me. If this were a paper that I was grading, I would probably be like circling those parts about Zach and the Gi and be like, I need more here. I need a little bit more here. But I'm going to give you a little bit of some grace because you've just made some Zach and Gi videos. So I'm going to have to watch those eventually. But your thought process is really good. Let me just say that. Like, and who am I, right? But like, if I were grading your video tonight, I would say the concept is sound. It's rooted in some evidence. I think that the presentation is immaculate. It is really good. It's pristine. Captivating to the end. It did not feel like 40 minutes. I think that the editing is spot on. And I think that the thesis, the general thesis, is good. One of the questions that I always ask is, if they're telling this story, and any theory, I would always ask this as well. The ultimate aim of a storyteller is to evoke some sense of theme, right? And so if this is the case, Shattered Worlds, what is the theme of Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy? And a theme, by the way, is not a topic. Let me clarify that. A lot of times when I ask my students for a theme, I'll say, what's the theme of this story? And they'll say, love. And I'm like, love is a topic. A theme is a sentence. So love conquers all. Or love abides, love perseveres. There's got to be a subject and verb to a theme. A theme is a statement. A theme is something that can be argued, right? A theme, a thesis, like, what was the point of this work of literature, of this narrative? And that's what we always have to ask. A story can be about love, but that's not the theme. It can be about life, but that's not the theme. The theme is life is something, or life is not something. And so if this is the story of fractured worlds and the reunification of worlds, what would be the theme? John, I don't know if you've got an answer for that. I'd like to take a stab at it if you don't mind. I would play around with it like this. A good theme of a broken, shattered world theory incorporating Jenova fragmented, but also the reality of the world fragmented, and the fragmentation of Cloud. Let's not forget about that. I think a good theme would be, out of necessity, and I'm just riffing off the top of my head, out of necessity, fragmentation of our reality and emotions and feelings may be necessary, but self-actualization comes through reunion. Out of a self-preserving necessity, fragmentation of our realities, compartmentalization of our realities may be necessary. But self-actualization demands reunion. That is probably where I would go. Because I think it brings the Cetra's mindset of, in order to save the world, we have to fragment the world, and that's going to create some new pain, and it may delay the inevitable, but it gives us time and it gives us possibility, because we are in a losing battle with an enemy that's much, much greater than we are capable of. Knowing that one day there will need to be a reunion that completely undoes and sets things right. And that's kind of where I am on this one. Now, I could be wrong about that, but like that's the way that I would read that story. And that's a really compelling thing. It's got some psychological things for me of like when we are facing trauma in our lives, for a time, it's important out of self-preservation to kind of set those things in their proper compartments and maybe revisit them when we're stronger or later in life. It's the work of therapy in a lot of ways. But just like Jung would say, the reintegration of the shadow, overcoming the shadow is not eliminating it, but it's the integration of the shadow. At some point, you've got to create a reunion. I'm curious. I would be really interesting if that would be the narrative theme. I could buy that. I could buy that. And if that's the story that they're telling, man, oh man, oh man. And at the end of Rebirth, boy, oh boy, don't we have that. Cloud compartmentalizing, repressing. God, the breakdown. You know what's going to be heartbreaking? This is an aside. It's bad enough to lose Aerith once, but what if we lose Aerith in every world? In part 3. What if we see multiple Aerith deaths? I don't know if that's been talked about. That'd be interesting. I've been under the understanding that maybe there is one Aerith alive and one Aerith and then not alive, whatever that means. But what if there's myriad Aeriths? And just like Zack or Biggs dies in all of them, what if she does too? I don't know. What an interesting idea. That would be brutal. Chat. All right, everybody, let's give a hand to John Q Gamer. If you have not liked and subscribed over on his channel, go and do that. Fantastic work, John. I'm excited about watching your next videos. Let's wrap it up here, okay? You get an Aerith, you get an Aerith, everybody gets an Aerith. I love that. We need an Oprah Aerith. Aerith dies in all of them so far, yeah. Kind of feels that way. And I think that the clue of that teaser danger would be as Zack keeps getting held at gunpoint by hordes of enemies. Biggs keeps dying. Man, I'm so curious. Very well done, John. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. His ecology encyclical. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, the life of a seminarian, you know? Maybe Cloud must decide to give Aerith the final rest by ending Sephiroth's eternal world. That is what I am thinking. That level of acceptance, man, that'd be brutal. The parallel between Cloud's identity crisis and eventually return to cohesion with a similar arc for the planet, yeah. Aerith can't truly die because Cloud and his friends carry her within them. Hey, you know what? That's actually a really good point, right? The mimetic legacy that they talk about, but also like, are the people that have gone before and passed before, are they truly gone? Do they stay with us to some degree? And I think maybe this game could be exploring that. That would be a really interesting theme. Are the deceased truly gone? Why isn't Sephiroth alive in any of these worlds? Not so much alive, around. I think that's what the Aerith says. It's a great question, Stygian. Yeah, great question. Oh man, so interesting, right? I love this. Okay, we got plenty more to discuss about Final Fantasy VII Remake, all that kind of stuff. I am so grateful to you all. If you missed the beginning of the stream, I really hope that you'll go back and check that out. We talk about dopamine with Dr. K, Healthy Gamer GG. Opened it up with that. Really interesting things, and I hope that spurs you to go and do something good, right? I encourage all my students, hey, go do something today that you're proud of. And so if you haven't done something today that you're proud of, do it as well. Ooh, yeah, why doesn't it apply to Aerith? Is he alive or just around? Oh man, you're cooking there. That's good, that's good. Okay, as we go tonight, let's bless somebody. You want to? Let's bless somebody by giving them a quick raid. Let's see who's streaming right now. Shall we? Do it. Let's do that real quick. Let's see who's streaming like Cruising USA. Let's see. Hey, dear friend Subtext is playing Final Fantasy VIII right now. Go give him some love, everybody. So I'm gonna raid him real fast. Let's do that. Guys, thank you so much. Remember, next Tuesday, we're back to OG Tuesday. We're gonna be playing Junon. Maybe even go to Costa del Sol, because I'm gonna be ripped and tan. So we're gonna do that. And then next Thursday, everybody, it is the Essay Showcase. Don't miss it. Essay Showcase next Thursday. We're talking about party relationships, what it reveals about them and us. And I'm asking you to become an armchair psychologist. You guys have turned in some terrific essays, and I can't wait for me and Evan to go through them next week. If you didn't get to turn in an essay this month, I hope you'll join in the chat as well. We're gonna have a wonderful, wonderful time. With that, let's go ahead and give Subtext a blessing by popping in his Final Fantasy VIII stream. Give him all the love, and I hope that you all have the best freaking night and weekend of your life. We're gonna see you on Tuesday. I see some great things in the chat. You guys, if you wanna keep this conversation going, make sure you hop in my Discord. Would love to continue the conversation right there. Let me add that really quick. So hop in that Discord and let's be good to each other. Love you guys. See you in class. And until next time, walk tall, my friends. Shall we? I did get yours fastest. With that, walk tall, my friends. Love you. Bye, you guys. I'm gonna go play some Pokemon. Laters. Let's raid, baby. Let's get him. Get in there, get in there, get in there. Raiding in 3, 2, 1. Raid, go, 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 go.
Dammy.
Not too bad.